40 years of developing hockey players from youth to the pros, Minnesota Hockey Camps has a player development program for you. Located in Breezy Point, Minnesota, our professionally coached on-ice development sessions, off-ice speed training, weight room sessions, stick handling sessions, shooting skill sessions are the right program for you. MHC takes great pride in its tradition with developing NHL players like Chris Stewart, Ryan Bugsy Malone, Scotty Hartnell, and TJ Oshie. Our dedicated staff is ready for you. Come check us out at MinnesotaHockeyCamps.com. Sign up for your chance to become the player you've always wanted to be. Hashtag who will be next.
Cold showers, leaking pipes, furnace giving you the chills? Look no further. At Iron Range Plumbing and Heating, we've got you covered. From expert plumbing solutions to HVAC magic and all sheet metal work, we are your one-stop shop for comfort and reliability. Professional service from a team that cares. Say goodbye to household woes and hello to peace of mind. Call Iron Range Plumbing and Heating today and feel the difference.
At Grand Rapids Chevrolet GMC in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, we have the trucks. Over 47 new Silverados and Sierras sitting currently on the lot with more to come. We have all the options: LT, RST, LTZ, High Countries, ZR2s. We have heavy duties. We have Sierra, SLT, Elevations, Denali's. We are equipped for the truck you are looking for. With great rebates currently, with up to $12,500 off on select models, now would be a great time to take advantage of savings and get yourself into a new truck today. Grand Rapids GM in Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
Welcome everybody to the Tea with Ms McGill Show. 1 day early. Last week we were 1 day late. This week we're 1 day early. Brought to you, as always, by our friends over at Fortune Bay Resort and Casino. Make plans right now to visit Fortune Bay Resort and Casino on beautiful Lake Vermilion. Fortune Bay offers 172 rooms in a smoke-free resort, indoor pool, full-service marina, RV park, world-class golf, several dining options, bar, and of course 24/7 gaming. Visit fortunebay.com for more details and plan your trip today. Of course, they got the RV park, get the ice castle, haul it up there. And New Year's Eve, 10 to 1, live music up at the Bay. So like I said, fortunebay.com, plan your trip today. All right, it is Puka speaking. The star of the show, Coach Reed Larson. We're already into week 5 of the boys high school hockey season, episode 96, inching closer to the hundo. Be here before you know it. So
Almost there.
How we doing?
Pretty good. It warmed up a little bit this week, so that helps.
Different than last week, for sure.
That helps my joints a little bit. You know, typically with the old arthritic joints and old man bumps and bruises from my playing days. Now when the heat comes up a little bit into the 30s, I feel a little bit closer to normal.
Well, don't get too comfortable. I guess now it's supposed to.
Hopefully,
Well, you're leaving anyway. You're leaving town. We'll talk about that
we're going to go south.
Yeah, you're leaving town. You're heading south. So just 8 days away, of course, is Christmas. Merch, like we've been promoting the last couple of weeks. T-shirt in the back, a couple of different versions of T-shirts, caps. We've got the hoodies. Order 2 items. We'll ship for free. I did some shipping earlier this week. So the perfect gift for mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, brother, sister. Some Tea with Ms McGill Show merch, and we got some visors in there too. All right, new subs this week. Decent King 06, TJ Lyle, and MD Noman. So be just like these fine folks. Subscribe to America's fastest growing hockey show today. And I was just looking, Coach, 396 Facebook followers. So who's going to be number 400? That's the question. So if you want to be 400, we're going to showcase you. So 396. And then on the YouTube, we have 195. So who's going to be 200? Which, if somebody's really crafty, they could actually be both. They're really watching.
So, pay attention. You get something.
Yep. So please subscribe, and you might be our 400th on Facebook or our 200th on YouTube, and we will feature you next week. Okay, hammer the like button as we move into our game of the week. Giddy up, presented by the Ring Sports Bar and Grill. Gift card special.
No brainer.
No brainer. It's going on right now. So buy $100, get $20 free. Till December 24th, the Ring Sports Bar and Grill is just on for the Hockey Hall of Fame over in Eveleth. Nightly specials, Burger Night Monday, Taco Tuesday, Wing Wednesday, the legendary fish fry on Friday, and go get their King Cut Prime Rib on Saturday nights. You remember Frank, for the men's league. So all you Franks guys, you're all retired. I know you guys play hockey. You go for lunch on Fridays. Even though retired, you guys can split the $100, and then you can each get $10. So
there you go.
Mel, Wade, I know you guys are Rocket. I know you guys are listening. So go pay Michelle a visit. Tell her the Tea with Ms McGill Show sent you, and get a really good deal at the same time.
And we'll find a way to get Strooks to go with you too. He can take the day off and get himself to go. And that guy can eat.
Well, you think he can take down, what was it, the Rink Burger?
He could eat 2 of those.
You do 2 of those?
I'm not kidding.
With the fries?
Oh, yeah.
With the fries, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so get down to the Rink Sports Bar and Grill, and like I said, tell Michelle the Tea with Ms McGill Show sent you. All right, going to get into it. Rock Ridge, Little Falls, Friday night last week. I'll give you a little breakdown here. Period 1, pretty much dominated by Rock Ridge, but Little Falls gets a breakaway. They pop one. Cass Carlson pops one with about 2 minutes to go. They end the period 1-1. Real nice individual effort there by number 4, Cass Carlson. Period 2, kind of the same thing. Rock Ridge is buzzing. They're moving around. Little Falls gets a breakaway. With 5 seconds to go, they score at the end of the second. So it's almost like a dagger in the sense that they're at home. They're buzzing. I don't think at that point Little Falls had 1 minute of sustained pressure offensive zone time. It was just they kind of get it in, and Rock Ridge would move the puck out. It was pretty easy for them. So kind of a dagger in the sense that it's only 2-1 heading to the third. Now here's an interesting play. Little Falls is on the penalty kill early in the third. From their blue line, the defenseman ices or dumps the puck. It's not icing because it's the penalty kill. Just a foot or 2 from the net. Bounces off the dasher, comes and kind of sits by the extended goal line. The goalie, Ranasat's kind of standing there. There's a couple defensemen slowly coming towards the net. I don't know what happened, mental error, what happened, but the Little Fall guy, he goes hard. And he goes and he grabs the puck. And Ranasat literally standing there with his stick up, like kind of waiting. I don't know, maybe he didn't know where the puck was, right between the legs.
Ooh.
3-1, they had an empty netter. So 4-1, Little Falls win. 5 penalties, so 5 power plays for Rock Ridge. 5 penalties for Little Falls, 5 power plays for Rock Ridge. Only 1 penalty on Rock Ridge's side. 32-17 of being the shots, so really just and I don't mean this, it was a terrible loss for Rock Ridge. Not that they played terrible, but here's my question, Coach. Terrible loss in the sense that, okay, it's going to come time, you're going to go sit down at a seating meeting someday, and you're going to say, okay, these guys at home, a lopsided loss to a single A team. Could this hurt them? Possibly come seating meeting, or are we still a little early to worry about that?
It's only going to matter if it's a common opponent with other teams in the section, to be honest with you. I mean, they are going to look at the idea that Little Falls is a single A team, right? People are going to look at that, but quite honestly, Rock Ridge is going to be compared when it comes to common opponents as to who is Andover playing and beating and losing to, who is Grand Rapids playing and beating and losing to, and and then the other ones that fall into the mix, like Duluth Marshall, you mentioned, and like Forest Lake, I mentioned. So really, it's common opponents, and nobody else in that group of teams that I named in the section play Little Falls.
Okay.
So Little Falls is mostly a single A schedule. So I mean, it can and can't, but to be honest with you, looking from a seeding standpoint, when we get down to voting Double A, we're more concerned, how did they do against Duluth East? How did they do against Forest Lake? How did they do against some of the Double A teams like your Minnetonkas? These other teams. You can slip up every once in a while against teams. Believe me, we know the feeling. It's happened. It seems to me that the score wasn't indicative of what happened there. It was an open netter at the end of the game. It was kind of a fluke goal there for the third goal. What really boggles my mind is the power play. Like, didn't you say they had 5 power plays and didn't score on any of them?
I don't believe they did.
They only had one
Cass
goal.
got the goal. Yeah, Cass, and that was not.
Yeah, so
that was just a good individual effort. He dug hard.
Well, that boggles my mind because their power play in this section is going to have to be, 28 to 35%, to be a contender. That's just in my opinion as far as that's concerned. You want your penalty kill to be right around the 85 mark. You want that power play to be high 20s to low 30s. And they're still pretty good, but that boggles my mind that it must have been a really tough night.
Yeah, and I think I saw today, I think they're running the penalty kill at that percent, but I think their power plays at like 15.
Yeah, and the only guys right now that are scoring on their power play are Grady DeBerio or Cass Carlson. The other guy, they have to find some more offense on that power play, or it's going to create problems. I don't want to be the "I told you so" guy, but if you go back to last week, we were talking about there's going to be a surprise coming at you with Little Falls. I'm always going to want to pick the Iron Range teams and the Northern teams, but the only thing that I'll say is that that team in Little Falls is well coached, just like Rock Ridge is. They're well coached with Coach Niskanen, but Little Falls is well coached, and obviously part of that is my brother. So
Yeah, right.
I told you that was going to be a tough game. I knew that was going to be well played, and just moving into the next night, not sure if Little Falls maybe lost the steamroll or the momentum they had the night before, because they went into Hibbing and got thumped by Hibbing.
Yeah. We can move on to that one. Yeah. So again, shots pretty lopsided, 32-16. So what did I say? Rock Ridge was 32-17. Rock Ridge outshot Little Falls. Hibbing outshoots them 32-16. But late in the second, Little Falls scored a regular full strength goal, and then they got a power play. So also they knocked a couple in. I think it was a 4-2 win for Chisholm Hibbing. Defenseman Whitaker Reart's a freshman with a couple of Genos there. But that one again, not a lot of sustained offensive time for Little Falls in that one. Did you get to see that one at all?
I didn't. I just saw scores.
Okay. Yeah.
I just saw scores, and right now, you're starting to see where Hibbing is at the moment. They're climbing in, depending on what poll you're looking at. They're either 3 in single A in the state, or they're 4 or 5 in single A in the state, and that's not even with their best defenseman.
Right.
Jackson Strukel is on week 6 of recovery from, and I don't know if anybody saw this on the Youth Hockey Hub tweets and Instagrams, but there was a picture of Jackson Strukel on skates outside, getting ready to go. He's starting to move a little bit, getting on feet, getting his feet moving. 6 weeks after surgery. So my guess is sometime shortly after Christmas, you're going to see Jackson Strukel back in the lineup for Hibbing, and it's going to give them even more of an offensive punch from the back end.
Sure, yeah, and I did speak with his dad a week ago at the Hibbing Greenway game, and that's what he said. He said that they went in and the boot came off that day. So I think it was Monday of last week, and so yeah, they said start walking on it, start putting pressure on it. So just a matter of time there. Exactly.
Yeah, that's going to put Hibbing make Hibbing even that much better. It's going to be fun to watch that team do what they do.
All right, then the last one we were covering right here, Yanmar Friday night, GR Maple Grove, close one, a lot of pipes, some iron hit.
Yeah, there was some iron hit. It was we came into the show last week, and I was pretty excited about where we ended the weekend with the swing down from Rosone War Road Friday. That game wasn't the greatest, but Saturday was a well played game by the Thunderhawks and the Warriors. To be honest with you, it was a really well played. 2 high-end juggernaut teams fighting it out, and a good special teams battle that we came out on the top end of. Really good momentum going through the week in practice, trying to kind of take some things and learn from them and come into a game against a really a decent Maple Grove team. And that's a team that's, in and out of the ratings, whether they make the top 10 or whether they're within the top 15. They've been kind of teetering in and out of that all season. It's a high-powered, big team that plays with a lot of jam, and you're going to need to go into a game against those guys either matching that jam or, exceeding it. And we were not at the level that we needed to be at that night. There definitely was one player that was, and it was the goalie. Carter Casey was unbelievable in the game. There were a few real point-blank saves that he made. I think he was 33 for 35. They scored 2 goals on him, so 33 saves. But, there was a lot of opportunities, a lot of 3-on-2 rushes, a lot of, turnovers coming back towards our net where he made some big saves. Not to say the whole night was horrible for the Thunderhawks, but that it just wasn't it wasn't at the level that we expected to be after the strides we saw going into the Warroad game. So it was, there was a lot of excitement. I mean, there was opportunities. We did score, I believe it was in the third period there to make it.
Yeah, at the end, because that's when I got there.
Yeah, to make it a 1-1
after
game.
basketball.
And then a nice goal by Nathan Garski, nice little play by Palachek and Ryla to get him the puck and shelved it. So it was nice to see that. Gus Drennan played a really nice game for the Thunderhawks that night. It was, you didn't see his name on the score sheet, but you saw a lot of the smart plays that needed to be done. This is a senior captain that is playing minutes on the third line, which you don't always see that, but in order to give the team depth on the third line, you need to have senior leadership all over the lineup, and he made the third line not a third line that night. It was nice to see him playing and making the smart plays, getting pucks deep, finishing checks. So he played a really nice game that night. But beyond, Carter, Nathan Garski scoring a goal and Gus Drennan playing a nice gritty game that night, it was tough to find a whole lot of other things for us to brag about. The only thing that we'll say is we went into a Saturday practice. We went into a practice the last couple of days here this week, and another one here before we head down to Edina, because what we're moving into here is the heart of the schedule, and it doesn't get any easier down the road. No. We're gonna take off here Thursday morning. We're gonna head down to play an 8:30 game Thursday night against Edina, in my mind, who is the number one team in the state. I know there's other rankings out there. St. Thomas Academy is in that mix of 1, 2, 3. So is Hill Murray. I don't care what anybody says. That Edina is still the top team in the state of Minnesota. And this is an opportunity for Grand Rapids to prove themselves. So we'll talk more about what needs to be done.
Yeah, all right. Anything else on that game?
Nope.
All right. Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into the preview section here. Aspire Heating Control brings us your previews this week. They're your local Bryant dealer. Bryant is the official heating and cooling company of your Minnesota Wild. Aspire specializes in gas, electric, and hydronic heating and cooling systems for existing and new construction, residential and commercial installations available. Services include forced air systems, boilers, heat pumps, mini splits, licensed and bonded. Give Justin a call, 218-999-5957. He's helping me out right now. He'll be in next week. I got one of those air exchanger deals went out on me. You're probably going to get one of those in the remodel. So these new houses are so sealed up that you need to exchange the air. So mine burned out. He ordered a new one, so he'll be coming over next week for an install. So if that's an issue with you, with the humidity in your house, give Justin a call, 999-5957. He'll get you hooked up one of those air exchangers just like he's doing for me. Let's go back to Rock Ridge. Big trip for them. You're not the only one. There's a lot of teams from up north heading south this week. So Rock Ridge according to different polls, but the one I'm looking at number 3 Rogers, which would be the highest ranked public school that I've seen in the rankings, because a lot of them have St. Thomas first, Hill second. Thoughts on that one? What do you know about Rogers?
Yeah, Rogers is high powered up front. They've got a lot going on. It's been an up and coming program the last couple of years. I'd say, if I'm being realistic about where they fit, it's probably top 5. Right now, I don't care what anybody's polls say. Edina is still in the top team right now until you really see it happen. And you saw a loss at the beginning of the year. They lost to Moorhead. They had guys that literally just stepped out on the rink earlier that week because they were finishing up their football season.
Boy, they've had a good football program last couple of years.
Yeah, so
we've talked about this, or you've brought it up more than once.
They don't hit their season stride until literally right now. This is when, boom, they start. Now's their rush through December and into January, February. There's a lot of things that get mixed in and out early on in November and December. Anybody that knows how Giles coaches that team and that knows how Edina ends up getting into the better part of their year, that understands it, will know that that team should be ranked in the top 2, for sure. But yeah, Rogers is top 5. I'd say they're going to be one of those teams this year that it's good to see a different name in the top 5. You know, Rogers is a program that has struggled in their section for years because they've had to beat teams like Maple Grove in order to get there, and they've been a top 2 team in their section, maybe a top 3, and it's been hard to see them down at the Xcel Energy Center because of the teams they have to beat. But that team is ready to find their way a trip at the end of the year.
It's interesting you say that. I have a buddy, Vukic, is an Iron Range name or what, but his son plays, and I spoke with his son this spring, and he said, we should have made it in Pee-wees. He's a senior now, you know. Should have made it in Bantams, because I said, you go on next year? And he said, we should, but we couldn't get over the hump at Pee-wees. Couldn't get over the hump at Bantams. So,
you know what that hump was? It was Maple Grove.
Yeah, it was Maple Grove. I'm assuming it was Maple Grove. Yeah, exactly.
It's tough to beat a team. I mean, it's winning becomes a habit, but unfortunately, so does losing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Maple Grove has had a bunch of years of being able to win, you know, region championships, and has had the history of, you know, trips to the state tournament with their high school program. So it's tough to break that. But once you do, Rogers, you're going to start building, and I'm not saying start building, the program's been there for a long time, but when you start getting those trips to state tournaments, now the program really goes in a different direction.
Yeah, sure.
So it's good to see a name there, and I think they're, in my mind, they're the favorite for that section.
All right. Second team heading south. Grand Rapids Thunderhawks, like you said, to Edina.
Yeah.
They had a Kurt Giles.
Yeah, and the first game we just kind of previewed a little bit, but Edina has you know, recently gone through what everybody in Edina knows as Hell Week. They usually have some pretty difficult practices. They usually get after pretty hard, and then, you know, prep to start the grind of the season, going a million miles an hour. And it's always, the first game is always Grand Rapids versus Edina, and that's a measuring stick for the Thunderhawks. If you want to go in and, you know, whether you win or whether you don't, you put up a game against those guys, improve to play with the big boys, it really gives you some momentum, you know, going into the rest of the season. This group of guys that we have on our team, we feel that we can win this game. You don't get to that level without having an excellent goalie, without having a few high-end defensemen. The area that we are going to have to figure out a little bit is getting more shots on the net. You know, only 15 or 16 shots I think we had on net against Maple Grove. It's not going to be good enough. If guys are going to do that, if we're going to have, let me see, I'm just looking at the shots. Yeah, we had 17 shots on goal against Maple Grove. That's not going to be good enough against a team like Edina. Guys have to start looking to shoot the puck more often. Guys are going to have to look to play with a little bit more jam, because you know you're going to get that out of Edina. And I actually talked to a buddy of mine that does a lot of the radio and TV and Minnesota Hockey TV down there, Pete Wagner. I talked to him today on the phone, and he said that, you know, I said, well, what's the deal with this Edina team? And he said, you know, you would think that because Edina is, you know, a West Metro, kind of a rich kind of area, that they would play all pretty. And he said, this group really likes to play tough. And he said, it's not always your MO when you're an Edina Hornet. It's not always, you know, gritty, tough, jam type of team. Usually it's fly, shoot, score, skill. And he said, this team likes to play that way. So the identity that we're going to have going into a game like that is we better be the harder working team. We better be the team that finishes checks. We better be tough to play against, and we better shoot the puck more often. And we know that we're going to get excellent goaltending, so that isn't going to be a problem. But the other part of the game, if we can contend and give ourselves a chance by playing them tough,
be there in the end.
That's going to prove a lot moving forward. And then the second night is always Grand Rapids versus Eden Prairie, which is always a battle. A few years back, there was an overtime win that we had over Eden Prairie. Last year, I think we had a win over Eden Prairie. I think it's been a couple of years in a row that we beat Eden Prairie there. And that is going to be a tough game. Eden Prairie is finding themselves, you know, getting some votes in the top 10. They're playing against some teams. They got some nice players there. It's going to be a fun battle going against those guys and proving that, hey, they play their late conference schedule down there, and they're usually prepped for their section tournament at the end of the year because of their conference schedule. So it's going to be, 2 back-to-back games that are going to be really tough, that are going to show that we're ready to play with the big boys this year. And then the third night is always Elk River versus Grand Rapids, and that's a fun one to play. We like playing against Gus's teams. Ben Gustafson, head coach at Elk River, good buddies with the coaching staff. He's good buddies with Coach Chido and Grant and I, and just like to talk hockey. But he's also a football coach. He coaches. Yeah, he's one of the.
Wow.
I'm not sure if he's defensive. I think he's offensive line coach for Elk River too. And it was fun because they ended up winning the state championship this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congrats, Jim.
Yeah, they were state championship for, I think it was 5A or something like that, football. So give them a little bit of crap about football. And it was fun because last year when they kind of went on their run to get to the state tournament, we were kind of on the same run, and we were rooting for them down at the state tournament. We didn't have to play against them, so we were rooting for them. And just behind the scenes, underneath the XL, back in the locker rooms, chit-chatting with those guys and just BS. And it was fun just to see them. Had been a little while since Elk River had been to the state tournament. And fun to see Gus get them there. So that's always a battle, and that's always fun to play those guys. And it's been kind of back and forth for a number of years. I think we've had the last couple against Elk River, but they're tough. They had I think kind of a tough situation here last week against Moorhead. I think Moorhead took them down. I don't remember what the score was of that one, but but they're going to be ready. Gus is going to have them ready to play, and 3 big games, boom, 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 Holiday Classic, and then we'll take a little bit of a Christmas hiatus, and
Time
we'll
for
be
some
back
eggnog.
after the new year. Yeah,
Eggnog. Eggnog after all that. So, yeah, because Elk River, of course, was here last year for the Bantam AA state tournament, so they're bringing up a pretty good crop of kids there. All right, the final team heading south, Chisholm Hibbing, on the weekend. Going to visit Gentry Academy and number 10, Orno. So, you know anything about either of those squads? I mean, I like I said, Gentry I didn't see in the rain.
Orno's always tough.
Yeah, they've been a perennial single A power.
Yeah, Gentry's been up and down since they won the state championship their COVID year. I think that was the year that when my brother was coaching Northern Lakes, they took the Northern Lakes team to the state tournament for the first time ever. But they ended up getting bumped in the first round. I think it was 9-1 or 9-2. And then Gentry walked through the whole tournament and ripped it. But since then, it's kind of been a little up and down for Gentry. They went AA and haven't quite, really reached that pinnacle just yet.
All right, so good luck to all the teams. He said heading south. We'll be up here in the cold. You guys head south. Enjoy the weather down there. Anything else on those previews?
No, just look forward to these holiday kind of north versus south weekends. It's going to be fun to come back and do our little Christmas Eve show here next week just to wrap up those holiday tournaments, holiday games. And like you said, it's kind of the north versus the south teams before we go off to the new year and holiday break. So it'll be fun to kind of wrap those up and talk a little bit about some of those.
Yeah, awesome. All right, scores and more. We'll move on here. Iron Range Apparel. ODR Swag. This is the place you go. Instagram, Facebook. New location there. Super One on Highway 53. I just noticed on their Facebook page, they just posted their holiday hours. So if you're a last minute guy like me, you're going to be shopping on Christmas Eve. I can't remember the exact hours, but they are on their Facebook page. So check that out. Said Gift Buyer's Paradise. A little bit of something for everybody. We got the ODR cap. We got the ODR tee. So you're looking for a great gift. That's the place you go. And like I said, a lot more than just hockey stuff. And if you're looking to get some stuff made, some screen printing, that type of stuff, they do. Our hats, our visors, our hoodies, our t-shirts. 741-5138, 741-5138. Like I said, check them out on Instagram, check them out on Facebook, give them a follow there. All right, scores and more from the week. That was I Falls, 7-5 winners over Kitson County. Ely, downed by Lake of the Woods, 6-2. 6-1 Bemidji, not the Bemidji Beavers, for you people in Leondis. It's the Bemidji Lumberjacks, all right? But the 6-1 Bemidji Lumberjacks. 9-2 winners over Buffalo. Warroad dropped by the aforementioned Orno, 5-1. Rosa with a 3-1 victory over Buffalo. Dentfeld in the win column, 6-2 winners over Superior. 6-0 Cloquet, number 2 in the state on the ranking I saw. Over Blaine, 4 rip. So the CARE 11 poll has Hermantown 1, Cloquet 2, Hibbing 3. So all section 7. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever happened.
It hasn't in years, I can tell you that much. Cloquet's tough. They're tough.
Yeah, 6-0.
Yeah, they're
6-0.
tough.
So looking good. Proctor, victors over Greenway last night, 6-1. Duluth East winners over Brainerd 2-1. A lot of northern teams winning here. Hermantown dropped by Maple Grove 3-0. North Shore down by Fort Francis 5-2. Duluth Marshall with 1-1 tie with Rochester Lords. Rock Ridge on Saturday, 6-1 winners over St. Cloud Cathedral. And the Walleye Scott CFP Edina Hornets update. They were big 7-1 winners over St. Louis Park. So they're coming in. They're coming in hot. They're coming in hot. So, Adam Johnson caught. Many may have seen that online. The jersey retirement they did over in Nottingham. Pretty nice deal on Saturday. Davey was there. Sue was there. Ryan was there. His brother Ryan. His fiance Ryan. I saw Ryan, the fiance's father. But pretty nice tribute. I thought. Maybe 15, 20 minutes, not too long. I think they hit on everything. The owner spoke. They had some good speakers. I thought it was pretty cool. They brought up the foundation, and I decided I got to try and keep track of this. I'm going to need your help with this. But here's the deal, kids. I talked to Goat Sports. We had a little deal. So over these holidays, you got the Edina Classic. Hibbing's going to do Delano and Cambridge next week. And I'll have to look at Rock Ridge's schedule. Every power play goal, you guys get either Rapids, Chisholm Hibbing, or Rock Ridge. $5 per power play goal going into the Adam Johnson Foundation. So rack up the power play goals for a really good cause, and rack up power play goals because your teammates want to win. So that's what we're going to do. We'll do that. So we got a little homework to do. We're going to have to keep track.
We should have done that during the World game.
We'd be broke. So Thunderhawks score a lot of goals down there. Power play goals down there in Edina. Just maybe we'll deal with that. We can talk about the next week's show, and then I'll have to look at kind of we're not going to do the Rogers game. I think Rock Ridge also plays Cambridge and Delano maybe when they come up. So we'll figure something out. We'll tally it up, and we will throw it into Adam's Foundation.
Let's slide back up to the scores and more for a second there. I was just looking at the Hermantown Maple Grove game.
Yep. We're here. 3 rip.
Hermantown actually won that game.
My mistake.
So that was a win.
Sorry.
I just want to make sure. I can see how you were thinking there because, they obviously Maple Grove could have been coming out of there with a win too, but it must have just took a quick glance and saw the number and flip-flop. But I just wanted to make sure it was corrected.
Okay.
And
that's
sure,
good.
Because if we get a Hermantown fan go, you guys know what you're talking about. So I looked it up. I was like, I just want to double check. Sure enough. So, and just to give that a little bit of, a little bit of clout. Like it was a well-played game. I mean, Hermantown, back and forth. There was Maple Grove 33 shots against their goalie, 30 saves. Hermantown 32 shots, 30 saves. So that Bryce Francisco with a shutout in that game. Okay. So a well-played game. Looks to me like Hermantown was 1 for 2 on the power play, and Maple Grove was 0 for 2 on the power play. So,
okay. All right. Thanks for that correction.
Yep, no worries.
Going too fast. All right. Well, that's it as far as scores of war. Anything to add to episode 96?
No.
So we're into the holidays here. Like I said, we will be here next week. We're going to come back, kind of recap everything, the classic, recap all the games we just previewed here. Probably on Christmas Eve. So you have something to do when you're driving to Grandma's house. You can tune us in. All right. Punch the follow button. Subscribe on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. Appreciate that. On X, find us under T McGill. Find us under T with Ms McGill. Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the Musi app. Goatsportsmedia LLC on Facebook, Rumble, and YouTube. Once again, merch. No, I don't know. We don't even. Oh, here. Here's what it is. Cap. So, like I said, 2 items or more, ship for free. So we got some stuff out earlier this week. $20 for the caps, $20 for a tee. $22 for a double X or larger tee, and then $45 for the hoodies. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, we take care of all that. And a big thank you, as always, to the greatest partners on earth: Aspire Heating and Control, the Ring Sports Bar and Grill, Iron Range Apparel, Fortune Bay Resort and Casino, Zorba's Grand Rapids, Iron Range Goalie Academy, Grand Rapids Chevrolet GMC, Minnesota Hockey Camps, Iron Range Plumbing and Heating, First National Bank Chisholm Cook, and the Jackson Hole Moose Hockey Club. For Aid Larson, I am Puka. Get out there and be your dream. You're tuned to the Tea with Ms McGill Show.
Would you like to hear about Zorba's specials? On Mondays, it's Micro Monday. All taps are just $4. Tuesdays, $3 tacos and $4 dos Equis. Wednesdays, personal pizzas, $8 and domestic taps, $4. Thursdays, we have deals on nachos and $5 surly taps. We offer trivia on Wednesdays at 6 p.m., bingo on Thursday at 6 p.m., and then karaoke Thursdays at 10 p.m.
All right, fellas. You just can't get the hockey itch out of yourself. The college route isn't for you. Community college route isn't for you. The junior hockey route isn't for you. Well, there's still hockey that you can play. Why don't you check out the Jackson Hole Moose out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming? Take a look at these guys. Full crowds, full hockey, packed houses every night. Get a hold of TJ Thomas on Facebook, and he can get you hooked up with what's going on out there in Jackson Hole.
First National Bank of Chisholm, a full-service bank located in the heart of Chisholm on historic Lake Street, locally owned and operated, serving the Iron Range with integrity since 1905.
Did you know that fascia strength training is great if you have a banged up body and you'd like to heal and get stronger at the same time? Unlike muscle-focused exercise that leaves your body stiff and achy, fascia strength exercise releases muscle tension and fills your body with a spring-loaded power and cat-like agility. Fascia strength is great for athletes and martial artists. If you'd like to pursue this training, take a look at my program, Fascia Strength and Power. I'll leave a link in the description box below.
Yo everybody, it is Puka. Quick merch drop here. As always, a little breezy here. We've got the t-shirts, but now visors, $20. T-shirts, $20. Hats. Now these got the patches on them. So let us know also if you'd like to see something different, but Goatsportsmediallc at gmail.com, or you instant message. We can do, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, all that good stuff. So there it is.